Good morning mga katribu. So it's another exciting Wednesday and we're here with the Straight Talk, and that means it's another fresh episode of the program. So where we bring you the stories that matters to most. I'm your host, Chito Lozada.
I'm Atty. Montelibano. Today, we are diving into a topic that affects us all: governance, public accountability, and the rule of law in our everyday lives.
So our guest today is no stranger to these issues and topics. He's a seasoned legal expert. He's a former dean of the UE College of Law and past chairman of the Social Security System.
He's taken on bold stances on constitutional issues, led key public institutions, and continues to be a voice for justice and reform.
So please join us in welcoming to our program Dean Amado Valdez.
Dean, it's a pleasure to have. It's a pleasure to have you in Straight Talk, sir.
Thank you for having me, Ted, Boss Chito, and good morning to all the audience watching the program right now.
Thank you for giving us some time during this rainy day.
Yeah.
This promises to be a very interesting show. You have been around, and boy, we would like to benefit from your erudition and
From
your
from
experiences
the academe to the to public service.
Public service. Okay, so first off, so
Rain is always good. It it adds richness to the soil. To the soil of the brain, to the soil of the mind.
So,
That's
sir,
true.
maybe a little background first, no? A little background.
A little
We
background.
understand you ran away from your home in the Ilocos region,
Yeah,
at the age of 16 to come
the
to
age of
Manila.
16.
I ran away from ignorance in pursuit
That's
of
a
knowledge.
nice way of putting it.
And that was the bravest and the best decision I had in my life.
What
So,
prompted you to do that, sir?
Well, I thought that I was living in a very strict environment. So the soul has to have its free spirit.
You wanted more breath and
But all along, I thought I was just alone in Manila. But the wisdom of my father, later I found out that I was not really alone.
he was monitoring you.
He was monitoring me.
Good.
Yeah.
There was a guardian angel that was following everything that happens to me.
That's great. Okay.
So,
You were 16 then.
I was 16.
16, my goodness.
Barely.
Well, at 16,
Old at 16.
at 16 you can do anything.
Yes, sir.
The whole world is. God knows what I was
You
doing when I
can
was
do
16.
everything and you know everything.
So, sir, yes. So, what happened to you, sir? So, what did you take up?
Yeah, I
Where did you go to
finished,
school?
my pre-law was Bachelor of Arts. And then after that, I went to law. And that was my passport to where I am now.
Yes. Okay. So, after law school, what happened? Could you give us a little bit of your career and
Well, it was,
that led you to where you are now?
I had a good beginning as a lawyer because immediately after I taught my oath, I was employed as a special counsel in Olongapo City. So I met Dick Gordon,
Dick,
but
okay.
I worked for the mother. And I had a special order from the Secretary of Justice to
At that
be
time,
a
who?
special prosecutor.
Who was that? Who was the Secretary of Justice at that time?
I think it was Secretary Puno or Mendoza.
Okay. Estelito.
Yeah,
Estelito.
I cannot remember who between the two.
This was during the Marcos years.
Marcos years, that was 1970, 71.
Wow.
So it's a long time.
Just pre-martial law.
Pre-martial
just before-
law.
just before
just
martial law.
before. Year before martial law.
That was your first stint sa government.
That was my first stint in government, but I did not stay long. I was handling the night court.
That court.
So the Olongapo City is a base city, you know. There was still the American base.
Yes. Wow. Very.
And most of the people that
Interesting
were brought in the night court were the
Servicemen.
the servicemen accompanying their girlfriends, you know, because they
the
are
bar-
charged with vagrancy.
Bar
I thought to
district.
be married.
And then at 11 o'clock in the
Interesting,
evening,
interesting
I had a
times.
guest in my office, and it so happened that he was one of the top legal guys at the law center of the Subic U.S. Naval Base. So he said, you may want to join us at the U.S. Naval Base.
He invited you.
Yeah, and when there was an opening, I applied, and luckily I was accepted, and I stayed there. So it was
in the
already
naval base.
at the U.S. Naval Base. I was a general attorney at the U.S. Naval Base. So that is when martial law was declared.
declared, yeah.
So I was in the safe enclave of the U.S. Naval Base during the time.
Fantastic. But of course, the U.S. base, Subic wasn't affected by martial law, was it?
I don't
the-
know if
the
they
US base.
affected martial law.
They affected.
They were the ones who affected martial.
Fantastic speculation. Could be the subject of another book.
Yes, sir.
As we know, our guest is an author. He has authored 2 books. Sir, could you give us just in a nutshell, what are these 2 books that you've written?
Oh yeah, the first book was entitled that a man who dies ignorant when he has capacity for knowledge is a tragedy.
It's a tragedy.
So this is about my story. It's an autobiography.
That's your
It started
story.
when I left home, and
You
then
should read that.
it ended when I was already up there,
Okay. When you have established your
chairman
career
of
already.
the SSS. So I saw a lot of personalities along the way.
This should be an interesting read.
Yeah.
The name of the book again is
That a man die
Amanda's.
ignorant
Ignorant.
when he has capacity for knowledge is a tragedy. It's published by Olympia Publishers in London.
And available where? You can buy it from
Yeah,
Amazon.
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not available here. You have to
Get it from you.
Amazon. I think there's an ebook
Surely.
that's available.
Surely get that ebook as fast as possible. And the second,
The second book
you're
is
writing
about
a second-
lawyers. It's now finishing its the last stage of its editing. It's about lawyers. The tag there is a lawyer. It's about lawyers, of lawyers, for lawyers, by lawyers. So it's the tragedy of lawyers becoming the victim of injustice. So just imagine that.
Okay,
Lawyers
that
and
happened.
Lawyers being the victim of injustice.
I thought you were agents of injustice.
It's a fiction. It's fiction, but somehow it's a sequel of my
But this is fiction.
autobiography. Yeah, it's a fiction.
Autobiography.
So
But it's still
part of the
he gives you a glimpse of your life.
part
Yeah,
of the good episodes there because it happened also. The lawyers, the central characters
Yeah.
in the book work in Olongapo City.
Still long ago.
They started as lawyers in Olongapo City as well.
Fantastic. Okay.
And
now
after a tragedy that happened to them, they went different routes in their career. One became the president of the Philippines,
This is interesting.
and another one became eventually a pope.
Okay.
A
Wow.
pope.
This is
Fantastic.
ano,
And
This
one
is
of them
fiction,
became a chief
of course.
justice.
this is fiction.
It's a fiction, but
this is
you can see a
really
lawyer
interesting.
aspiring to be
I
president,
understand
to be chief justice.
The chief of the Supreme Court. Chief
that would be
Justice of the
more-
Supreme Court.
I
will be
requested
writing
the
foreword.
chief justice to write the foreword, and I am awaiting for the email coming from the secretary.
And he has written. Yes, he has read the draft.
Yeah, I gave him a mock copy of the book.
Yeah. Boy, that should be a subject of anticipation.
And
I
you're
wanna see
writing
that.
Another the third one,
There's
a
the
third one.
it
edition.
will be a self-help book.
Self-help
It
na.
consists of different topics.
When are you going to launch the second book, sir?
Now, about September, our target is September 11.
September.
I think there's a
11,
book fair.
that's very,
There's a book fair
symbolic.
and at the Mall of Asia.
Yes.
So my publisher said, let's
Take
launch
advantage
it
of that. Yeah, fantastic.
during the,
I'd
the
like to
book
reserve a
fair.
copy.
Book fair. You're my guest list.
Thank you. I'd like to get a copy.
September 11th is the birthday of
Martial
President
law.
Marcos.
Sorry.
No.
September
September
11.
11, I
September
think.
21.
Yes. But that was the
That's September-
World Trade
Ah,
bombing.
yeah, World Trade
I was
bombing
supposed
pala
to-
yan.
Never mind. It's a long story.
Ay,
We tell you when I was supposed to fly to New York for that. I was well. I did production work for.
and Ted,
3 years.
Dean Valdez is also, we just learned that he's also one of the private prosecutors in the impeachment court no,
Yes.
of ERAP.
Well,
Former
talk about
President
impeachment. Impeachment seems
Joseph
to be a
Estrada.
very hot topic of conversation nowadays in Manila. Not only in Manila, but in other parts of the world. No? You have the vice president charged.
Let's start with
we
the
have special
ano,
trial.
with the remanding of the impeachment complaints, the articles of impeachment. How do you view this?
I think the word remand is a misnomer, actually.
What exactly?
Because
is
if
the
you
word?
say
How does it
remand,
really define?
you send it back, no?
Which he did.
Out of your docket or out of your jurisdiction. But the reason why I said it's a misnomer because I think the text was actually asking Congress to still certify that they are pursuing the case, that they are still pursuing the case.
Of course, they will pursue the case. I mean, isn't that a little bit?
And then they
Ridiculous.
issue the summons to the vice president for her to answer. So it's not really remanding, but I think it's more of
More of a delaying tactic.
a delaying. I don't know if it is deliberately
Deliberate.
a delaying tactic.
How else would we think about it?
But the way I see it is, I think it's dictated by the circumstances
Let's
because
see, what
there was an
circumstances?
election. There was an election.
the election is over.
Perhaps they didn't want to be diverted from the hassle, the issues during
The election was
election
over?
time.
Oh.
And when it was over, there was also the coming in of new set of senators that if they will start and it will be prolonged in crossover to the next Congress, there will be new judges that will be sitting and receiving or listening to the evidence that will be presented. So, later from hindsight, I think it is still a good delay. It's a necessary delay. It may be a necessary evil,
Why
but
is it
it will.
necessary? Why was the delay necessary?
I think the people will be more focused to listen to the evidence, and this will break or unbreak the vice president, whether she is convicted or not. Because the people is, if they will be concentrated with the evidence that will be presented, they will have the luxury of time to evaluate whether she is really fit for
That's a
the
good point.
presidency. So this time, time has its own way of doing things.
But that can also be an injustice. Diba?
The delay, you mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Injustice to whom?
injustice to the people.
No, not really, because as I said, they will have more time to listen and study and make a
Appreciate that.
well informed judgment.
Time, over a matter of time, the people would have other things to think about. We're not a very, the thing about, I remember, we're not a very rich country. I mean, a lot of people here still, their daily
Preoccupied
life
with
is motivated by, you know.
The reason I said that, Ted, is my experience with the Arab
let's talk about
impeachment.
Give us a little bit of an
So
insight.
we'll talk about that after our
Yeah.
commercial break.
This break is brought to you by Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Usapang OFW is the show that honors the journeys of our modern-day heroes, our OFWs. Join Chingmi Fernandez, John Dodson, and Rafi Ayang every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. to hear the real stories behind the sacrifices. Watch it live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. Want to hear from thought leaders shaping our world? Straight Talk with Chito Lozada and Montelibano dives into leadership, politics, and business every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Catch conversation live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. Ready for the hot takes of today's biggest issues? Hot Patatas with Vernon Velasco and Carl Magadia delivers the news that matters. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Tune in live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok, where the real talk happens.
So mga katribo, we're back here with Straight Talk and we're still here with Dean Amado
Very
Valdez.
interesting guest.
Yes. And before we
Forward-
took a break, we were discussing his role in the Joseph Estrada, Arap Estrada's impeachment trial.
As it turns
As
out,
a-
you were a member of the prosecution
prosecutor.
panel.
I was
During the impeachment
one of
trial.
the 5 original private prosecutors.
Private prosecutor.
Private prosecutors.
private prosecutors.
Who are the others? What are the other four?
Yeah, it's a long time actually.
Yeah.
25 years ago. That was a long time. But afterwards, I became a good friend of the president, the former president. And I had the occasion to ask him the question, Mr. President, why did you not allow the opening of the Bilarde
Yeah,
envelope?
That was what triggered the
interesting.
walkout, no?
And I was the one actually who received the envelope. Because no one wanted to receive the envelope among the
Yeah,
private
really?
prosecutors. I don't
That
know.
came from, the
It
envelope
came from
came from
Equitable Bank.
Equitable
Yeah.
Bank, yeah.
So there was this drama in court
Yes.
about
see.
the opening of the envelope, and when the no vote came in, Senator Tessie had this. She cannot contain herself. She
Yeah, he was dancing and all that.
and that the story happened already. You can no longer stop people from going to the streets.
Yeah,
So I
remember.
asked,
Yeah,
I asked the
one of those.
president. I asked the president, Mr. President. It turned out that there's nothing in the envelope.
Yeah.
In the envelope.
But of course, nobody knew about it.
Nobody knew.
Nobody
Why
knew.
did you not insist that it will be open? You know, I let my lawyers handle it. So if you from that event, you can see that it's the people who are observing what's happening.
Yeah.
And to them, there was a deliberate effort to
Suppress.
prevent,
Suppress,
to suppress
information.
the evidence. So, moving forward, the people will be in a position now to watch intently, observe what's happening. That's why I was saying that it could be good as far as giving the people
Okay.
that opportunity to look at the fitness of the president.
So,
of the
pahinugin
vice
muna,
president.
pahinugin muna yung attention.
Baka hindi, we may not be able to get the vote of conviction, but in the mind of the people, they will have their own judgment.
But let's just take this. Why, like, for example, why is there like a deliberate effort or some effort to prevent the articles of impeachment to be read out? What does it say to you, sir?
I don't know, because the impeachment charges are well covered, right?
Well, covered, but then how many people read Rappler? Because only Rappler was insidiously covering it. How many people?
Yeah,
read
it will
Rappler?
be
Yeah.
at the right time when
But this one
the
is
start of the trial.
television. I mean, television
The
comes
start of the
along.
trial, you know, the procedure in the impeachment court, the rules of court will have suppletory application.
What is that, sir?
Suppletory.
Suppletory.
Which
Like
means-
what we are doing in the courts, it will be followed there,
Okay.
except for some special nuances. But the charges will be read, and the respondent will be asked whether she pleads guilty to it or not.
Again,
And then the prosecution will have the time to present their evidence.
Again, two issues are floating in my mind as we talk about this impeachment thing. Number one is the manner by which Escudero or whoever the 19th Congress received the charges. How do you say that? Received the articles of
Articles of
impeachment.
impeachment.
So in the Constitution it says forthwith. Okay, now that's the number one issue. Then the number two issue, of course, is the remand. The remanding back to. Isn't that even?
You know, Ted, these things will no longer count when people will make the judgment whether she's fit or not to be president.
Yes, everybody.
I think that's really the reason for the curiosity of the people. They don't really know her, so this is now an opportunity for her to make
answer
her
it.
case before the people about her fitness to the presidency.
So
You remember, I am avoiding to say whether she is guilty or not.
She's not guilty.
To me,
Allegedly, she's
to-
allegedly.
To me,
The allegation of the charges.
to me, this is an opportunity for sizing her up, because right now there's no one in the horizon who could be
Yes.
a shoe-in for the presidency.
Right now,
But the
there's
vice president is ahead of the crop.
Mm.
So this is an opportunity for her. We have 3 years to evaluate.
The people has the right. We really have to have basis for choosing, for finding out.
And
whether
we have
this-
3 years. The people will have 3 years whether in the process he will grow to be a good president eventually in terms of character, temperament, etc. So this could also be an opportunity for her to strengthen her character,
She doesn't
to
seem-
be a real leader, so to speak.
doesn't seem to want to answer anything. She didn't want to answer during the budgetary hearing in the House for her Congress,
could be
for her
her
budget rather.
undoing.
She didn't want to answer any of them.
Again, as I said, it might be a problem with lawyers, no? Because as I cited about ERA, why did you not
Yeah.
allow
yeah.
the envelope to be
But
open?
She had no. She
So
had no, she-
the
she
lawyer
had no
may be
lawyer.
telling her, you have the right to remain silent.
remain
But that could be deadly advice on the part of the lawyers for her.
Do you think it is a wrong advice?
Ineffective. Is it an effective
I
strategy?
don't know what they're keeping there, but
Silence is guilt.
what's in it? Yeah.
Simply. You don't want to answer
Yes,
anything.
if you
then
advise that way and you cannot give a plausible explanation, people
we just jump to conclusions.
will jump to conclusion. But some people may also be thinking, actually the majority would be thinking that they are trying to clobber her,
What is?
trying to
You're just simply asking. What is?
intimidate her, etc.
Can you explain your budget? You're the one we want to understand. We want to understand how is his budget supposed to be, and she just shut them off. I mean, anyway.
If you're still the
Anyway.
part of the private prosecution, what advice would you give to the House prosecutors? What strategy would be the most proper?
Well, they have to have a clear messaging.
Messaging.
What's happening in the court may be confusing to the people.
Yes.
But after each hearing, they have the opportunity to further elaborate on what they said, and they should be able to clearly send the message. What is the message that they want to convey to the people?
What happens if there's no? What happens if they vote against the charge, the impeachment?
Impeachment.
There's still a possibility that this impeachment case will be thrown away or thrown out the window, isn't it?
As I said, regardless of the results, of course, if she will be convicted, and the penalty will be disqualification. So that's the end of her political career. But if she is acquitted, that does not mean that she will eventually be earning the love and the support of the people.
Just to gain that.
Because as I said, the evidence may be telling,
Overwhelming.
that could destroy any kind of facade of integrity that she has now.
Yep.
I mean, just
But if
the way
they
she conducted herself when she accused the president. I mean, for me, that's the end of it. If I were for Sarah, I would. My God, would have serious doubts about what's in this woman's mind.
No, remember,
She-
she earned her name by slapping the sheriff in
But
the
that's not exact. But she had an equal measure, I mean, the house was divided
Oh.
for her and for her.
Remember when Pacquiao won and pinatulog niya yung pinakamagaling na boxer that cemented her status. Sometimes
but
the
that's
David and Goliath
Sino boxing
mentality.
But my goodness, but
Diba?
to accuse and
So,
to
kung lalaban ka rin lang, you try to fight
that's
the president.
the profound
etc. Siguro,
to
that's,
many,
to
that's
spew the
show
to
of,
spew the all
that's the
that
thinking. That's the
profanity.
thinking, you know.
Anyway, never mind. Yeah, I am supposed to be objective. I'm supposed to be.
All these things are calculated.
I think.
But if they throw out the impeachment process, the impeachment trial, how the public judge
Wala. What tapos na?
what the case would be over?
The case will be over, but if the evidence is overwhelming
But she can still
about,
be charged kasi.
yeah,
She can still be
Outside
charged.
of the
Yeah.
impeachment.
kung
court.
overwhelming naman yung
There
evidence,
could
people
remember
will,
corruption charges there.
That happened to
And the House members or whoever from the House can still file a corruption case against her. And the ombudsman already was saying, in this particular case, the ombudsman already answered the charges.
I am more on the public judgment. So ano ang magiging thinking of the people once the
Vox-
evidence is
Vox Day,
overwhelming.
Vox Populi, Vox Day.
Because this is a political process actually.
It is, yes.
My God, if you can imagine if Trump got away with it, can you imagine the blatant attack on the Capitol? He becomes president, and all of a sudden, my goodness, yes, up. I don't know.
Alam mo, the wars of humanity has been
Terrible.
exhibited with
Yeah.
Trump. And we are part of that that worst case scenario. If that happened in the U.S., yung mga MAGA people, they can even topple their government.
In the United States,
Trump can even declare martial law. You know, we never know because the world is now upside down.
And this is for me the worst. The Supreme Court is sanctioning all of this extra terrible.
Praying that would not happen.
My goodness.
So,
Look, they just defended him. You can fire whoever you want in the federal
Supreme Court.
employees, even if the federal employees is ano pa na yan, may term protection. No, you can fire them. We will protect you. What kind of a Supreme Court is this?
so we think about that. So, after this commercial break.
This break is brought to you by Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Usapang OFW is the show that honors the journeys of our modern-day heroes, our OFWs. Join Chingby Fernandez, John Dodson, and Rafi Ayang every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. to hear the real stories behind the sacrifices. Watch it live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Want to hear from thought leaders shaping our world? Straight Talk with Chito, Lozada, and Montelibano dives into leadership, politics, and business every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Catch conversation live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Ready for the hot takes of today's biggest issues? Hot Patatas with Vernon Velasco and Carl Magadia delivers the news that matters. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Tune in live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok, where the real talk happens.
So, we're back sa mga katribu. And we were talking about the impeachment trial and trying to relate it with the impeachment trial of the former
Vice President.
president,
The former president.
Joseph Estrada.
Yeah.
So,
But the thing about the president is former president is he was a charming person. He was a likable person. He can really charm. You know,
Alam mo, I had the scare of my life during that time.
where so?
Kasi I was a private prosecutor, no? As the trial progressed, survey after survey, tumataas ang popularity ni Erap.
During that time?
It only changed with, the change was only during the opening of the envelope.
That really changed it.
That really
You
changed.
see, what the transparency is what triggers people.
The lack of transparency.
lack of
Lack of
transparency, rather. Yeah.
So dito I don't think how I'm just thinking how this thing will evolve. The vice president should be very transparent when she will defend herself with the accusation, because from what I read, there are has just to explain some of the expenses.
But in the first place,
that
she's
she
not
had.
even bright. I mean, she's not articulate. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really her folly. That she's not bright. Sorry.
during that time, Din, what was if the impeachment process, the impeachment trial, has proceeded to its end, what were your projections then? An acquittal or a conviction?
He could have been acquitted, and the people
We're talking about Erap.
could have rallied behind her, him. Because the reason for the acquittal would be the fact that nothing is in the envelope.
So the envelope would be eventually opened.
Eventually, yeah, because it was stopped.
Oh.
by the people power afterwards. After the no vote to the opening.
When was the envelope finally opened?
Later na lang.
After the ano na?
After many years after. Many years after. That's why when she ran for president again, she had a good number of votes. She garnered a lot.
Erap.
Yeah, she had second place. Naka 10 million pa rin siya eh.
Kasi yun yung sabi ko sa iyo, sir, Carming eh. Sino you talk to the media in the presidential in Malacanang press corps? Even when he was being battered, nako, talagang mahal siya. First name, he would just go there, he would saunter into the press room and he would ask, "Oh, pare, kamusta nanay mo?" Oh.
But alam mo, yung Chito, alam mo, nakikita ko ditong another, the envelope, so to speak, because generic na yung envelope na yan when we discuss it.
Yung transparency issue.
The X factor there is President Digong, what will happen to him between now and the election.
It would be the version of the envelope.
Yeah, that I think will be dictating, regardless of what happened during this impeachment process. In the next election, I'm referring to the next election because this impeachment is really related to the next election, whether we like it or not. And there will be confluence of events. The heart of President Digong, will he be acquitted or... So the sympathy will always be there. So he is still the big X factor.
There's another portraying
It's an
him to be the
interesting,
underdog, matay na ako, mga kung ano.
So that's why I think those who are aspiring for the presidency, they have to separate the mantra of Sara from the president. That President Duterte is exactly different
Extension
from she is not
She's not her father.
She is not the copy of the father, and she will not be as good as the father when she becomes president.
Yes.
I think that's a very important thing. That is
She's giving advice.
that is a very important thing that they have to consider. And even during the impeachment case, they should be very careful not to overemphasize the battering of Sara. Kasi may kasama dyan eh. Parang you're in the ring eh. Binubuntal-buntal mo yan eh. Kaya naalalayan mo rin ng konti.
No, today the audit papers say this is a witch hunt. Witch hunt itong impeachment trial. Sinagot sa ni Laila. It was any witch hunt, it was me. I was just hunted. Witch hunted. Sagot ni Laila di Lima.
As you said, Din, it would be a political process from the start to the finish.
This is a political exercise.
At saka yung sa prosecution, there should be less of Laila also. Because look at the one pointing hand at me.
Yeah, right.
Pointing a finger at me. So but credibility of the message of if Laila will be in the forefront of the prosecution. And I think she will be because she is very aggressive and assertive person as well.
But will she be a member of the prosecution panel?
Yes, she is.
Oh my goodness.
And Cheldo.
Oh, Chel maybe. Chel, okay. But I mean, Laila's too, ano eh.
So, may konting divisive element din pag pumasok si Laila as a prosecutor.
So, who do you think would be a good prosecution panel?
I'm not very familiar because most of those in the prosecution panel are the activists, mga activists.
Yeah, right.
So they have to bring in a private prosecutor, siguro, a private prosecutor that...
who do you think who would make
who has a good credibility?
Credibility among private prosecutor?
We have to go into a haystack and look for that needle.
Tili, dami dyan, ha?
Din Amado Valdez would be.
Din Amado Valdez.
Never retire now, sir. I'm just writing my
If they ask you to be, you wouldn't want to do it?
No, I have passed that stage. So plus, in difference to President Duterte, who appointed me as chairman of the SSS.
Yeah.
So much to regret, Din. We're wrapping up.
Wrapping
So,
up.
can we have your parting words, sir?
Well, I'm happy that we have this channel.
We'll have a
No,
part
no,
two.
no
huh?
fear, no
Before.
favor. This is an extension, or later, Daily Tribune as a paper will be the extension of this program. Baka magalit sa akin si
sure.
Willie. But anyway,
No, not really.
thank you for having me.
We'll have a part two later, sir. huh?
Yes, sir.
Later. Maybe after the.
Maybe-
No, during the
during
impeachment,
the
we could
impeachment,
do,
yes, we could have a-
we could do, because
Oh, we would
during
do-
the
we would-
impeachment of
Oh.
Chief Justice Corona,
Oh.
I was on the panel
That's another
Like
one, huh?
making
Commentaries.
commentaries,
Commentaries.
daily commentaries.
There's no- we should
Live,
invite you.
live.
I
During
think
the
we would-
break,
we
pumapasok
might-
kami. We
most
can do
probably
that.
we would have that.
Okay,
during,
okay.
Before I commit myself to others.
Thank you. We will invite you already. We'll tell you.
Kasama ako.
Commit to us.
Yeah, yeah.
There's another thing. The impeachment of Renato Corona was also very interesting.
Oo nga.
Yeah, also very divisive. I mean, it divided the house. Also.
It is always a divisive process.
So, Dean, thank you very much for taking time out.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you,
for
sir.
your-
Thank you,
for your
Chito.
time.
Thank you, Ted.
And we look forward to to the second book. And I look forward to.
Yeah,
getting
you're
the-
invited to the launching.
Thank you, sir.
The launch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So that's all for today, mga katribu. And a big thank you to all of you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, how am I supposed to say? I think.
Kulang ang oras mo.
We hope today's
boss.
conversation
Ano?
with Dean Amado Valdez helped bring
45
clarity to a
minutes.
complex and fast-moving issue that could reshape our political landscape. We're talking about the impeachment of the,
The
Vice
impeachment,
President.
yes. And of course, thank you for spending your Wednesday with us. If you miss any part of this episode, you can always catch us at Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. This has been Chito Lozada.
And Teddy Montelibano, stay informed, stay critical, and we will see you next time on Straight Talk. Good night. Good night, huh?
Good
Morning. And stay safe.